Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Luffy can awaken Gear 6 and surpass Joy Boy. I'm starting off like this because there's no point beating around the bush when Scopper Gavin suddenly turned up and said that thing about the white form, as if it were just some stylish vibe. It's not. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. In the world of One Piece, nobody drops mysterious lines for no reason, especially not a former member of the Roger Pirates. I don't think Gavin's line was just about Luffy's look with Gear 5, because if it were, he'd say white hair or turned into a cartoon, not reached the white form. So maybe, just maybe, that's a clue this isn't even the final form. What if we're only at the very beginning of what the true power of Nika really is? Ever since chapter 1044, when Luffy awakened Gear 5, everything changed. The battle logic, the very existence of his fruit, even the Gorosei's reactions. They literally said it was the most ridiculous and dangerous fruit in the world. That means it's unpredictable, uncontrollable, and closer to a god than a human. So if Gear 5 is the form where he becomes the full Nika, dancing, laughing, and bending reality like a living rubber cartoon, what would be the next step? I think it would be an even more advanced fusion of Luffy and Nika, where he doesn't just embody the spirit of freedom and fun, but begins to affect the world on a deeper level. And that's where Gear 6 comes in. In chapter 1110, when the elders reveal their demon form and start attacking Egghead, Luffy, still powered by Gear 5, gets seriously beaten. It's not like he lost the fight, but he clearly wasn't in control. He was exhausted, took a direct hit, and only didn't go down because the giants showed up, the joy bonus activated, and the tide turned in his favor. That's a sign. I think Oda is showing that Gear 5 is amazing, but it still has limits. It can be funny, powerful, and free, but if Luffy wants to reach Joy Boy's level, or better yet, surpass it, he'll need something new. Maybe something even the original Joy Boy never reached. Another thing that stands out, the world's reaction to Luffy's form. Everyone's shocked, not just by his powers, but because he literally changes the environment around him. The sky changes, the sounds shift, people's expressions change. It's almost like the world is reacting to Nika awakening. I think that's the kind of thing that only grows stronger over time. Like if Gear 5 already twists reality like a wild cartoon, imagine what comes next. I'm thinking something more mythological, where Luffy starts merging with the world's very energy, a kind of universal hockey. Yeah, I know it sounds wild, but in One Piece, anything's possible, right? Maybe Gear 6 lets Luffy interact with the immaterial. You know those souls from chapter 1095 when Kuma was being tested? Maybe Luffy can see that kind of energy. Maybe he can see people's memories, feelings, dreams, not as a mystical power, but as part of absolute freedom. The ability to touch what isn't physical, to understand what was never spoken. And then, imagine him facing Imu, who represents ultimate control, and Luffy just laughs. And with that laugh, he breaks centuries of oppression. I think Gear 6 wouldn't be a named technique. It'd be a silent transformation that Luffy doesn't even realize he's using. Like when he faced Kaido and suddenly started changing the world. But now, he does it intentionally. He's not just become Nika, he's become freedom itself. And the crazy part is, maybe he wouldn't even call it Gear 6. Maybe it's just his natural form after everything. But for us readers, it'd be the peak of his development. The moment he surpasses Joy Boy. Not because he's stronger, but because he's taken that energy to the absolute limit. There's more. In Vegapunk's flashback in chapter 1116, when he talks about the Mother Flame, he says the world was shaped by an energy no one really understands. And here's a theory I like. Gear 6 could be linked to the Mother Flame. I think Luffy will end up absorbing that energy or being affected by it somehow. Maybe, just maybe, that unlocks a new form inside him. Something that combines the absurd nature of Nika with the primal energy of the world. Imagine Luffy turning into a kind of golden solar god, like the Hanuman you mentioned. That Bajrang gun is already a step in that direction, right? He basically summoned a fist the size of an island. Now imagine him doing that with his whole body. If we think of Gear 5 as Luffy becoming Nika in full, then Gear 6 has to go beyond mythology. It can't just be a strength or speed buff, because Gear 5 already messes everything up. It's literally the state where logic breaks down. He becomes a stretchy puppet who paints reality itself with the brush of freedom. So to top that, Gear 6 has to represent ultimate freedom, but at such a high level that reality itself starts adapting to him. Like, the world becomes the stage for his comedy. It's not that he breaks physics, he rewrites the rules of the game mid-fight. And I think the secret of Gear 6 isn't in Luffy's body, but in the world reacting to him. We saw in Gear 5 that the environment changes. The sky brightens, smiles return, even the rhythm of the story shifts. There's drumming sounds, illogical panels, fights turning into anime musicals. That's insane, but maybe, just maybe, Gear 6 is when that scales up so much that Luffy doesn't just change the scenery, he changes people's wills. And not with Conqueror's Haki, but with a kind of freedom Haki, if you can even call it that. Think about it. What is ultimate freedom? It's when you can be whatever you want, do whatever you want, and even free others from what holds them back. Gear 6 could be that. A mode where Luffy not only transforms, but transforms those around him. Like, if someone's under mental control, he touches them and they wake up. If an ally's losing hope, he smiles and their flame reignites. It's not healing, not a buff, it's liberation. Luffy could become a kind of freedom catalyst, where just his presence breaks invisible chains. By the way, speaking of Hanuman, there are a lot of hidden references there. He's the god of strength, joy, humor, and freedom. Like, he's literally Luffy! And in some versions of the legend, Hanuman had different power stages, like actual forms. So maybe Gear 5 is just Luffy's first divine manifestation, and Gear 6 is when he connects with the most powerful part of that archetype. It might sound crazy, but One Piece is increasingly opening up to this kind of stuff. Before it was just devil fruits and Haki, now it's devil fruits, Haki, advanced Haki, futuristic observation Haki, ancient weapon Haki, dimension-piercing Haki, and of course, mythical joy that reshapes the world. Another point I think is important, Joy Boy. He's the most mentioned name from the Lost Century. But no one says he won, only that he was a symbol, so maybe he didn't finish his mission. Maybe the Nika that existed before him didn't fully awaken, and Luffy is the one who will do that. If Joy Boy got as far as Gear 5, Luffy will go beyond. He'll be the first to master Gear 6, which is basically the total ascension of the god of freedom. And it won't be some distant, static god. It'll be a god that dances, fights, laughs, and saves everyone with a smile on his face. And if we try to imagine how this would show up physically, maybe Luffy's look in Gear 6 isn't that different in terms of his body, but more in his aura. I picture him surrounded by a golden light that feels almost alive, with fluid shapes swirling around him, like the space itself is dancing with him. There might even be tiny sun-like elements spinning around his body. Maybe his hair grows longer, kind of like a floating ponytail, and his eyes get a continuous spiral that looks like the symbol of the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika fruit. He doesn't turn into a Super Saiyan, but becomes a living presence of freedom. And maybe this form works differently. No time limit, no exhaustion, because unlike Gear 4 or 5, this form doesn't strain his body. It flows with him. Luffy becomes part of the world, and the world responds. Imagine him dropping into a battlefield where everyone's worn out, fighting demon-like creatures like MMA or the demonized giants of Elbaf, and suddenly the ground becomes a trampoline. The sky clears, allies stand up, enemies start laughing from confusion. It's not a destructive power. It's a power that flips everything upside down. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.